Good morning, everyone. This is Brad Matheny. Today is the 3rd of June. Yep, we're moving into summer. And today out here in California, we have monsoonal moisture coming up out of Baja. Always makes for an interesting day. Takes the sun away, makes things a little cooler, and we get a chance at thunder and lightning and all kinds of crazy stuff if the moisture builds up enough. So we shall see. So yesterday we had a pretty strong upward trending bar, still within this range. I'm gonna highlight this range here again, try to make this a little darker. This is really, this is the range that I expect the SPY to stay trapped in until we get out of this island topping kind of formation. So, in reality, the current range, excluding the gap, is really more like this. So, pretty much this kind of range. So, we're going to stay probably in 596 to 576 area. About a 20-point range. Yeah, it's going to be fairly volatile. It is still volatile, but we need to see how this plays out with the market. We're moving into slight downward trending this morning. No major news. Again, I've highlighted it, 597, 598 to the upside, 575, 576 to the downside. That's really my breakaway level. Until then, we're kind of within this 10, 20-point range. And, don't expect much to really happen in that 10, 20-point range. It's going to stay trapped until we break away from it. So now let's come over and take a look at the cycle patterns. We're in a breakaway pattern in bullish explosive trending, in trending mode. Let's see what happens here. I mean, obviously we're in bullish trending. We're in a breakaway pattern. Could be to the upside. As I mentioned to you, we have this fairly strong resistance up here, this previous high. Could get above it into this 596, 597 area. It looks like the market's going to be fairly flat today, but my interpretation has been that we are going to roll downward on some news moving into my July low. So, until we get that real roll, that real breakdown, the markets tend to want to go up. So we'll see. We're running into fairly strong resistance here. We do have that call it a cradle pattern. I've highlighted it here. That's the cradle pattern. Try to bring this to the front so you can see it. Highlight it a little differently. The cradle pattern plays out as an early stage rotation. So here's where we're at. We're just waiting for that breakdown. And if we do get that breakdown back down into this lower 575, 576 area, that would be a pretty good indication that the markets may tend to move a bit further downward. So be aware here that we have that cradle pattern setting up. It's a sign of weakness. It's a sign of rotation. It is a modern or a moderate excess phase peak pattern setup. So you can see here, if I were to draw the excess phase peak for you, very tiny, coming up, flagging, and then potentially breaking down into consolidation somewhere over here off the small pattern. We still have the larger red pattern setting up here. So again, we got a lot to layer in, and that's partly what I've been trying to teach you guys here, is this analysis is layered. Okay, I mean, you've got the Fibonacci zones, which we're waiting on. You've got the current upward trend. You've got the standard deviation channel here, showing that we're struggling right over here on this edge, maybe trying to get back into it. Be honest with you, if we fail at this point, where we're at right over here, if we were to fail right here and come down, that would be a very solid breakdown away from standard deviation. We almost need to see a big rally here to get back up into standard deviation to actually continue this rally. If we don't get that rally, we're probably looking at a breakdown or some sort of a new flagging setup. The cradle pattern is setting up into kind of a moderate excess phase peak pattern. We have the bigger excess phase peak pattern. Let's just see what happens. And then, of course, we have this big consolidation range, which remember, price is either trending or flagging. And right now we're flagging sideways, struggling to try to get out of it. So Fibonacci price theory and a lot of these layers will tell us what direction potentially is coming. I'm still leaning to the downside. We'll see if my downside predictions into July come true. If not, we're going to go straight up and we'll break above the 615 level. We shall see. Okay, gold and silver back over here. Had a bit of a pullback overnight. Gold and silver are moving into that rally phase. Oh, divide by 0. I'll have to check that out. Don't know what that's about, but I'll have to check that out. And we are in bearish trending short term. How did that happen? That doesn't make sense after that big rally. I'll check. I may have to update this. So assume that we're in this breakaway type phase. We'll see. And we're into this rally mode. So I think that we're going to see a pretty solid carryover of this trend back to the upside. We had a big breakaway yesterday. You can see silver's moving pretty strong. Got well above my 34.20 area. In fact, we're back down here consolidating. You know, I kind of think that we're looking at another move up into confirming this upward trend breakaway. We've had a very solid upward breakaway. Again, markets pull back. That's what they do after a big move. We'll see what happens here with metals and the rally phase. I do believe that metals are going to be making a big move here. Silver, particularly. I mean, silver is really at, I want to say, extreme highs. Not quite. 35.40 over here. So we still got a ways to go to get up into the past the previous high level. Gold's got to get up above 35.40. So we've got a ways to go to get back up into these extreme levels. But again, over the next 3, 4, 5, 10 days, I think metals, you know, unless this is a big false move on the turmoil in Russia and Ukraine, I think this is the direction gold is trying to break out and silver is trying to break out into. I think we're looking at a pretty solid move to the upside, and I think that's going to be carried over or continually carried upward over the next week or two. We'll see. We'll see. This was a big move, guys. I mean, this was a very big move. 5-6% in silver, 2% or so, 2.5% in gold. That's, you know, it's $100 move in gold. $3,300 to $3,400, $110 move in gold in one day, basically. That's a big move. And that's a lot of momentum. So we will see how this carries out. If it carries out today, remember, we're looking at the rally phase. And then we have Bitcoin stalling out, rolling. You know, we are in that excess phase peak pattern. Again, everything's kind of setting up this big, broad, red excess phase peak pattern. Kind of ironic that every chart I look at, except for gold and silver, have this setup. And gold and silver have recently broken away on fear. I think that we're going to be looking at whether Bitcoin is actually a hedge instrument, because gold rallied $100 yesterday and Bitcoin did nothing. Really nothing comparatively. If Bitcoin is a hedge asset, then you would have thought that it would have rallied as well. But it didn't. What it did is it stayed kind of mirrored to the NASDAQ, which is what I showed you the other day when I brought up the QQQ and showed you how Bitcoin and the QQQ are very aligned, very correlated. And that tells me that Bitcoin has turned into a new, call it blockchain technology sector. It's basically a technology stock, and that's what it is. That's how it's acting. It's not acting as a hedge. It's not acting as an alternate currency. It is acting as a new form of technology being sucked into the technology sector. So we shall see today. Bitcoin is down 500 bucks. I think that we're breaking down. I called that double topping formation with my May 20th video highlighting this breakaway. We'll see. It's just a matter of, do we get the breakdown or not at this point? So, it's just like trading. You know how it goes. If you've been trading long enough, you see something, you confirm it, you make a decision, you take a trade, and then you sit here and you stare at the screen all day going, do something, do something. Well, why did you make the move? That's kind of where I'm at right now. Do something, kick. I want to kick it to make it go somewhere. But right now, we just got to deal with the consolidation and see and position. This is actually a good time to kind of position for a move. Now, once we get into the move here, once it does start to happen, understand it's probably going to be fairly clean. So if we do get a breakdown, I've kind of highlighted it. It'll probably be pretty clean in this area. Into that early July, 10th, 11th, 12th area. Fairly clean breakdown if it happens. Probably back down into this 81, 82, 86 area. Same thing over here with the SPY. Fairly clean breakdown if it happens. I think I highlighted it here. Big green bar to the down. It's going to move into our July. Remember, this is the daily here. So here's our July low. Going to move down into this area, really targeting this 525 area through the breakdown, but probably going to try to find support around 500, 515. So it'll be a clean move if it happens to the downside. And if it happens to the upside, we will see, because we still have this ultimate resistance up here at 613, 614. We got to get above that ultimate resistance area in order to really mount a rally. And we could come up here and stall out and roll, but we'll see how it plays out. If it stalls right here, I think this is a perfect, structurally, Fibonacci wise, this is a perfect stalling point. And it goes all the way back to finding those Fibonacci levels here. You can see the 76 area. So let me clear this and pull the new Fibonacci from here down. These have my new levels on them. So you can see here, the 76 area right here to this level is playing right into where we're at right now. Perfect. Right in my Fibonacci zones. And look at that low. Right into my Fibonacci zones. Absolutely perfect. This is right on the money. Okay. I mean, this is technically, if it happens, hasn't happened yet. If this rolls down to this lower level down here that I've highlighted, this would be dead on the money. This would be a perfect Fibonacci roll into the trigger zones, and we will see how it plays out. But hasn't happened yet. We'll see what happens. Okay, guys, that's it for now. Tuesday. Got to run a couple errands this morning, but otherwise everything is good. Go get some.